Today is the 13th episode.
And how is everybody doing today? I was bored. So, I thought I'd play with the voice changer a little bit and see if I could make it work. Too much delay in there. I'm gonna have to practice with that voice changer. We don't have any guests today, so I guess it's kind of like it's becoming normal to not have guests. I guess it should be sort of an extra thing to have guests, shouldn't it? Okay. Well, moving on from that, I did look back and do a quick count of how many episodes I've done, and holy shit, have I really done 75 episodes? Well, no, I've done 74. This will be 75. And if you look back, a couple of them went pretty badly. I think 2 or 3 of them didn't even have an audience during the show and only lasted like 8 to 15 minutes, depending on what I could sit and ramble about for 8 to 15 minutes. So, I guess to say I have a few people here is definitely an improvement from the beginning of the show. Let me adjust my mic here so I don't sound so terrible. We have Adam K in the chat. We have Daryl Odell, Lacey Ann, and of course Nightbot and Skullbot fucking off in the chat. I do know that right now, even though this show is scheduled for this time, right now there is a lot of people just watching other things. And you know, I can't blame them. Sometimes it's hard when I get going and watching a stream and I'll get into it and oh crap, I gotta do something else. Welcome, Lebo Productions. How are you doing? Hope you enjoy the show. With that, let me get a little clicking done in the background. How is everybody today while I click in the background? Get some board rolling here.
Welcome to the Great Debate.
All right. Holy crap, I've got Sinatra Says. A lot of BG noise, dude. What's BG noise? Am I staticky, everybody? Really am surprised to see Sinatra. Would you like to hop on? I thought you were, live streaming. But, I honestly don't know. I didn't get to see yours. You went live right before I started. So, with that, it is up to the audience today, without a guest, to pick from today's board. And what would we like to pick? Okay. No problem. I will try and get you another day, dude. I don't want to be aggravating, so I send you an invite every couple of weeks. And, I think it's been a couple of weeks, so, invited. Anybody else, you are also welcome to come on. But to be honest, Sinatra, if you are listening still, I will go check out your show probably when I'm done with mine, because I constantly go through and rewatch people's stuff just to see, especially if it's a debate you're replaying. I think I fell asleep last night to Andy's debate, and watching other things gives me the ability to come up with new questions to add into the show, and that really is the goal. I try to watch as many as I can, but I do get burned out on them sometimes. Welcome, Shadowcat. The reason I run my debate the way I do is because some debates really are about facts, and if you want to delve into a debate, you're going to need facts, you're going to need experience and knowledge behind it, which is why I really enjoy some of the debates that go on. And then you get the debates that are fun to watch because it has nothing to do with the facts and it just goes off the rails. And then you get things like this, which are somewhere in between, a little random and a little timed out, trying to offer different ways to do it, which is the way it should be. Debates aren't supposed to be as structured as some people make them. They're supposed to be the openness to look at other perspectives. Nightbot is flooding my chat, picking on all you guys. So we have controversy from Lacey Ann. Thank you very much. Whether or not persons are citizens, they should be counted as members of the country. This is definitely controversy, and how do we approach this? Let's start with foreign bodies, and let's start looking back a little as well. If you go to a country you're not a citizen of, a lot of countries will arrest you, jail you. Some of them, their sentences are a little worse. You can get lashes and shot in some countries for trespassing without proper documents. However, the way our Constitution is written is, if you are a constituent, then you have the rights under the Constitution. So then the argument comes down to, does the Constitution grant rights for being in the nation, or does the Constitution grant rights for legally being part of the nation? And the way it was set down, it was, we wanted immigrants to come over for periods, but that wasn't when we originally set out. We originally set out to devise freedom and a way to establish. And there are other provisions written in that would prohibit and allow people to come here to do certain things. In the the mid 1700s, people were encouraged to come over for the gold rush as we spanned west into the early 1800s. And as the land was given away by the government, which wasn't all necessarily theirs at the time, but we took it, which is what people did at the time. When the land was given away, we stopped calling for people. We kind of put a hold on it. And then after that, we started intentionally putting holds on different areas, but we allowed immigration in to try and get people to fill the jobs that we needed at the time. Now, we've hit a point where our population has expanded so quickly, and there is so many people out there to do fewer and fewer jobs, and the value of those jobs is low but being paid high, bringing the value of money down because of the way all of it's interacting. Should we allow more people to come in? No. My personal opinion is, as somebody who was born here and has lived here my whole life, it is my right and ability and responsibility to go find a job and pay taxes and provide. The problem is that when I go apply for jobs, there's so many people looking for those jobs that because of certain kind of disqualifications, I'm not as highly fit for the job as other people, even though I'm more capable of doing the job than some other people. But the market is so open that they can make those choices. Hey, I want a little more money because I'm more experienced. Okay, so you're going to cost us more. That's worth less. We don't want to pick you. We want to pick somebody that'll do it for less, and maybe we have to teach them. In addition to that, they don't want people who are looking for 40 hours all the time. A lot of places are looking for part-time employees because at part-time, most businesses don't have to offer the same types of benefits and extra incentives to the job, to the part-time, as they do the full-time. When you're a full-time employee, it costs them a bit more. They're making a larger investment that you're going to work hard enough for them to make that company the money to afford you. I think we allowed immigration to benefit the country, but now people having a problem with America being not only less white, but the culture differences. I am not a white nationalist. That's it's a way of thinking which I can't completely disagree with. There is an aspect of white nationalism that I believe to be true, but that aside, I'm not for white nationalism I'm for nationalism. It doesn't matter who the people in your country are as long as they have a right to be in your country. If somebody at 20 or 30 comes across the border, explain to me the right you have to be here. Are you legal? Do you have paperwork? Does the government know you're here? Do you have the same responsibilities and abilities that I have as a citizen? If you do, cool. If you don't, well, are you paying taxes? Are you paying close to what I am? Are you taking care of the responsibilities the rest of us have to? Because as much as I may bitch and complain and moan about paying school taxes and property taxes and income tax and sales tax, I pay them. I take care of my part. I may not like it, but I do it. If they're talking about, hey, we paid for this couch that we got in this apartment we rented, you're paying rent. Cool, you're contributing. Yes, but you're not on the books for taxes. You're not paying on your income. Which in a lot of cases might be negative also if they make under a certain amount of income. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Yeah, you want immigrants, but you want to be able to control the flow of the population as best you can. And in a time like right now where population is in an out of control increase, not to mention people flooding in across country borders, you don't want to allow everybody in with every different perspective. And the big thing is, and you hear a lot of people say this, that there's a goal the country has. The country has a goal to expand, to be better than other countries. That's just life. You want to be better than other places. So if you're going to go into that country with the plan to work to be a part of that country, to make that country better individually from other countries. If you left your country for a reason, and you understood that you have to leave things behind. And when you left things behind, one of those things should be the rigid standards that made you adhere to the lifestyle you lived. I understand how religion sort of has to follow you, but understand that your religion needs to be within the bounds of what that country allows. And we have the freedom to exercise your religion so long as it doesn't harm other people. And that needs to be held very true. And if they understood that, that'd be nationalism, regardless of their Caucasian or non-Caucasian or whatever. People should have a human right everywhere they go, but if you go to another country, you should understand their laws and comply. I really can't stand the ethno-nationalists. Okay, before I leave this category, though, let me explain something that I do want to say on the side of wow, if I talk back here, it almost sounds better. Tell me how my sound, because if I move around, it sounds different. On the side of white nationalism and white ethnocentrism, I think is the best way to refer to it. On that side, and something that I did pick up out of the debate last night, is there are inherent qualities and almost defects to different types of ethnicities. So being white, being Asian, being black, being Hispanic, each one has different positives and negatives. And interbreeding them would be good to try and bring all of the positives together. But at the same time, when you start doing that, and I say this looking at it from all the perspectives, if you start breeding all these ethnicities together into one generic or hybrid ethnicity, then what you're going to end up with is not just killing off a race of people, either intentionally or unintentionally, but you're killing off all of the previous ethnicities to create the new one. And I think JF said it. It was kind of you're going to lose some of the positives to each of the ethnicities by breeding them down to one. And I don't think everybody quite sees it that way. But that's kind of my simplified view after I watched that show. Economic immigrants used to re, used to be required to assimilate to the culture, rules, and laws of the nation they were emigrating to. Nations need to return to this ideal. We absolutely do, and we held to it until a few decades ago, actually. And we used to be able to be very stringent on how many and for how long and from where people came from. And the reason for that was the protection of our country, as well as the positive progression of our country from how people in power saw it at the time, what we needed to do, where we needed to get people from, and for what reason we needed them. After the wars, we brought in German soldiers because they knew how to do stuff that some of ours didn't know how to do. I don't agree with the ethno-nationalism, but I do agree with the separation in the sense of people reproducing only with their race. It makes sense to want to sustain your heritage and all that, but exile on other races is insane. Yes, I agree. If you're a family, I do have a problem with the argument of you're racist if you don't want somebody. And I had this small conversation with a friend of mine. I am obviously Caucasian. I'm married. Would I want to be with somebody of another color? It's an interesting question. Personally, off the top of my head, my immediate instinct is no, probably not. But I mean, give it some thought, and it's like, well, I don't really see a reason why I wouldn't if she satisfied the needs of what I needed. And don't get me wrong, I find plenty of different ethnicities extremely attractive. I have no problem there, and would happily have spent more time with any of them. But how would my outlook? Am I affected by what the fuck are they called? Microaggressions and preconceived notions. What the hell is the preconceived subconscious, unconscious bias? Ding 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 ding! I got it. Unconscious bias. Am I a subject to unconscious bias about different ethnicities? Because my immediate instinct is I probably wouldn't, but when I stop and think, I might. But there's a lot of women there's definitely people of my own ethnicity I look at and go, there's no fucking way in hell. There's no way in hell. So it's not just other ethnicities either. Hey, Lord Byron, what else did I miss? Exile and other races is insane. I agree. I don't think our culture is so alien we can't get along in one place. As regards to ethno-nationalists, an ideological group that wants to kick out Thomas Sowell is fundamentally retarded. I don't know who Thomas Sowell is. Maybe I have passed across and don't remember. Preferences are part of freedom of association. Right. I don't have a problem with other ethnicities. It's just there are different things I prefer to do with different ethnicities over others. But that's not saying that I prohibit myself from those interactions if they were available. It's just that they haven't been, and I don't know what that would be. It's one of those things. I've had plenty of exposure to other ethnicities, but I've never sought them out intentionally because of their different ethnicity. However, I have found other ethnicities. This is hard to keep saying ethnicities. My tongue's going to tie up here in a minute. I have found them attractive and would seek after them with that, but it's not like their ethnicity attracts me separate from mine. Where, I don't know, maybe a white ethnicity does attract me more than others. So that's a weird question when you pose it to yourself. Are you getting unconscious bias because you automatically go to a certain ethnicity? In which case, I have a good buddy that doesn't at all date white people, and he's white. Does that make him unconsciously biased not to date white people? That's... Too much. Somebody give me another topic. We got Jello from Data Wasteland popping in here at 20 after the hour. Yin Wolf popping in. How is everybody doing here? We are looking for the next topic to discuss. A black genius economist and a student of Milton Friedman. Highlight. Right click. Come on. Fuck you, computer. We'll just shortcut my way through that. See if it worked. Nope. I'll come back and get it later. Alright. What do we got? We got Good Morning Yin, and then video games from Yin Wolf. Video games. I think I fixed my board from yesterday. Well, there were some good points. It could be argued Halo 1 was the best gameplay of the series. Who in here, dare I ask, has played... How many even are there? 4? 5? 5. I think there's 5. I should know, right? I have a Halo Edition Xbox One. I don't know how many Halos there are. I think it's 5. Plus the ODST. Or was ODST 4? I don't even know. It doesn't it stopped interesting me as much after Halo 3. Mostly because, yes, this seems stupid and it is in the easy category. Shout another topic. But let me run through this quickly and kind of insanely, if I may. When I played Halo 1 when it came out as a game player, Halo 1 had an awesome feeling of the desire to keep moving forward in the game, and it kept getting just slightly harder as the hordes they sent were either larger or they were stronger. And as you kept going through that game, it really offered interesting gameplay. It made you want to get through the game, and when you got to the end, it felt like you were getting into the end, and then you beat it, and you knew you were over that game, and you were like, yes, that was cool. I'm going to play that again and get through on the next level harder, because that was great. And then Halo 2 came out, and I sat and played Halo 2, and Halo 1 I must have played for a couple of weeks to get through it, because I wasn't in a hurry. I was trying to make sure I saw everything in the game. It was new. I didn't know what they were going to do. But Halo 2, I kind of knew what they were going to do. Had a little gameplay in. Played the few days before it came out. And then the next one came out. 6 fucking hours for the whole game. In Legendary mode. And I wouldn't play it ever again in my life. I was so pissed. Halo 3 came out. They kind of redeemed that a little bit by fixing the end of 2. The end of 2 left off knowing you weren't done, knowing that you were just partway into the fight. And when 3 came out, it was finishing 2, and they waited too long for it to start with. But 3 didn't quite feel like it closed it off right. It felt like it meant to pick up somewhere and then lost track of where it was going partway through. It did kind of end all right. ODST, I think I played for a couple minutes. Not that interesting. 5, I played because I have the system and I like the gameplay. It's not too bad. No, Halo 4 is cool. Halo 4 is cool because of the map building world for challenges. Alright, now that I've probably lost a couple viewers talking about Halo, does anybody else have any Halo things to pop in there? Anybody remember in Halo 2 online gameplay, if you had a sword and a sniper rifle and switched your weapon as you pulled the trigger on the sword, or no wait, what was it? If you were sniping, you were zoomed in, and as you went to pull the trigger, you switched to the sword, you could jump across the map and slice somebody. Stupid things they ended up accidentally putting in the game trying to make it cool because they were leading you to a door that wouldn't open yet. And that's a lot of what got on my nerves with Halo 2 is before it came out, we knew it was the preamble to 3 because they told us it was the first half of what would be 3, which was annoying to start with. And then they made the game actually feel like it was the preamble to something. When you finally got to the sort of boss area at the end, it just didn't make it feel like you were beating the game. It was either too easy. The gameplay was just weak. It was a letdown. Halo 2 was just a straight up letdown. 50 seconds left. Do I have another minute worth of Halo material? Halo 5, they overdid, or ODST, they overdid the whole gameplay for the teammates. Although I think the online play probably would have been better for that. I didn't do it. Nothing. I think the Call of Duty, they were milking Halo too much. Maybe, but I kind of like the way Call of Duty did it better until Call of Duty switched over into Infinite Warfare and you could start flying over buildings. That got a little out of control. When it was more like realistic gameplay warfare that you were running in and out of things, then it was decent. Halo 2, great multiplayer, weak on one player. Yeah, the multiplayer wasn't too bad. The multiplayer was better in 2, but it was better in 3. By leaps and bounds. Going to Halo 3, Halo 2 was absolute garbage. Halo 1 only holds up because it was new and it was awesome. It was a hard, kind of thoughtful, keep you in the path but make you feel like you're actually doing something in the game. It kept you enticed to keep going. And with that, the time is up. We can move on to the next topic. No more Halo, guys. Halo 1 and 2 were the most immersive. I remember playing split screen with my friends. Alright. If I had to pick Halo 1 through 5, the worst one would be 2. The second worst would be 3. The best would be 1. The second best would probably be 4. Does everybody remember the choppers in Halo 4? It was like a motorcycle with spiked wheels. I am a king on that thing. I can kill everything. I ran that map on hard and just kept running it and running it and running it. I love that fucking thing. And now I don't have Halo 4. I have Halo 5. All that bullshit with the systems keep updating and they don't play the older games. What are we going to talk about next? Ding. Next. Yes, data. I know. Next. Anybody? Going once. Did you want to... Wait. Split screen? Did you want to play? Ooh. Let's play. Halo 5? Oh, I can't. My Xbox Live membership ran out. No, wait. I have one. Where is it? While I wait for somebody... Sex and toys. You have to pick one or the other. Adam K said toys first. But before that, Data Wasteland said stripper heels. Did I got anything before that? Nope. Stripper heels was first. First come, first serve platforms it is. The information you are willing to give a free site like Facebook is theirs to use because they have a terms of service for new users that releases that right to them. Uh-oh. Did anybody watch Mr. Zuckerberg? Mr. Facebook sitting there in front of all those people answering questions? I don't understand exactly what it is you're talking about because I'm only going to talk about this shit that I wrote down on my paper. If it's not on this paper, I'm not repeating any of the sentences that aren't on this paper. Android 2354 does not compute. I'm sorry, Hal. I cannot help you right now. That was almost creepily good on my side. I'm sorry, Hal. I cannot help you right now. You will have to wait. I keep forgetting to get around to that. Cracking my knuckle. Here's the question. We all acknowledge that a site is collecting the information that we willingly give them. And when you log into, let's go back a little because I still have Yahoo email accounts. When you log into Yahoo and you create an email account, you give them either your real name or a fake name depending on what you're doing. You give them the name you'd like to be referred by. You sometimes give them other information like your phone number, possibly how old you are, maybe what area of the country or even what state you're in. Different information. When you fill out that information, you're electing to give that information to them. When the site, like Facebook, requires you to give them a valid phone number to use it, now you have to know that they're asking for it because what? When they tell you that, you have to do this as part of signing up here, why? I don't want to give you my information. And when I log into Facebook as NumbedSkull, I don't want to see local ads pop up when I've checked all of my private information away. Do not track my location. Do not understand where I am. Do not do this. Do not do that. Do not do this. You don't have access to my GPS. You don't have access to this or that or that or that. How the fuck does it still know where I am? How is it giving me ads within 100 miles of where I live? That is annoying the living hell out of me. And while he's in there, he's going, well, I don't understand what you mean 98 different points of data being tracked and stored. I don't know. We track two different types of data, the data that you give us and the data that we collect. What do you mean 98 different points of data? Here's what I mean. You track somebody's geolocation, even if they tell you that they don't want their geolocation tracked. How the fuck do you even do that and get away with it without being caught before now? Sorry, give me a second and I will get back to the chat while I rant away at this. When I log into to Twitter and I set my features up kind of the same way for what Twitter allows because it's a little different, Twitter doesn't give me local ads. They give me generic corporate ads. Things that are nationwide or international. I even get Spanish ads. That's cool. That makes me feel good because I know they're not targeting. But then, and this goes back to a lot of what has been asked at the Senate that bothers a lot of people. There's no reason that I should have my phone in my hand when I'm talking to somebody and within somewhere in the day, I haven't searched it yet, all of a sudden that item pop up. That has happened to me once or twice. I thought it was just happenstance that I said I'm going to look into something and then all of a sudden that something just happens to be there and I haven't searched for it on any of my devices yet. I'm not a stupid person. I know when I haven't or haven't searched for things. It gets a little cloudy too, because when you go back to read the terms of service, they're so long and explanatory, but yet so vague and not really detailed on what they do and don't do with everything, because the requirements only state they're allowed to do so much or supposed to do so much by law, but then in front of Senate, I'm not sure what the law is that you speak about there, Senator. We'll have to get together and talk about that. What the fuck do you mean? Okay, you started this in a dorm. You have a team of people that keeps you informed on what goes on. You are the owner and operator, what the fuck ever you call yourself, of a corporation that relies on information and connectivity. Where the fuck is the tablet in front of you where you can type into your own goddamn company this information and go, okay, yeah, I was explained what that law was. I must have forgotten. Why aren't you sharing what hotel you're staying in and all the people you've been talking to? Facebook fucking shares that shit on me, and I haven't talked to very many people on there. This stuff bothers me. How do you track me down and tell me where I am when I don't give you access to that information and I don't use Facebook to search or do anything? The people that I follow and that follow me on Facebook aren't even near me. So, how do you give me ads for my location? Okay, let me stop now that I've rambled for at least 5 minutes about Facebook and hating sorry. All right. Looking forward to begin with, but now maybe I'll just hear a testimony to excuse a bit of drugs. Okay, I don't know how far back this has to go. Zuckerberg is a loser, loner, retard. My chat's really long, and there's a lot of bad I saw the Root getting ass kicked by a Senate. He hasn't had a sweat function, and that just disappeared as I was reading it. Anything on the internet is at risk of being taken and used without your consent. Okay, it's not the consent thing. Okay, here's where that problem comes in. Is that Facebook doesn't allow you to put in fake information to create a profile. They make it very specific that you can only have one. And in doing that, which, by the way, I do have two. In doing that, another thing that they kind of do is when you're required to put in a certain amount of personal information to a free site, then you know that personal information is being sold. So I would rather be able to put in a VoIP number where they can't actually call me, but Facebook prohibits VoIP numbers specifically. I try taking things off the site and not allowing them to be shown. Yet Facebook sends out alerts around my birthday, so I actually have to change my birthday for people to not know when it is. I have to change it in the system regularly to make sure that every time it gets around to when I changed it to, that doesn't know. If I'm telling you not to share this information, but then you post to people that it's my birthday when my birthday comes, what the fuck are you actually doing? I'm making sure there's nothing of important or any context in my Facebook, and I will be deleting my Facebook here. I highly recommend that anybody and everybody who has Facebook, please delete their Facebook for your own protection. Not that I think that'll actually do anything anymore, because Facebook keeps all that data now. NumbedSkull, doesn't the government track all your shit anyways? Okay, the government... Anything you do in communication can be tracked by the government if the corporation that you're doing, or the site, or the ISP and the internet, what they do is they connect globally. And any time that information leaves our nation to a server outside of the nation, crosses borders in any way, it gets collected by the government and strewn through by another bot that determines whether or not there might be something in there worth the government looking at. So, yeah, your government might have a copy of your nudes, but it's not going to be flagged for, I'm going to kill the president. You're not going to set off government lines. And see, that's another thing about security. Should the government really have access to anything sent? And then comes the tech question. Should things happening inside the United States really be going to servers in other countries? Does that make sense? Doesn't that make it easier to access that information by foreign entities? That's stupid to me. I'm sorry. If I send a transmission from here to California, is there a reason it should end up in China, and then back in Hong Kong, and then over in Taiwan, and then back in Mexico, and then up here in the United States, so that it can be tracked and transmitted by all those countries? That's stupid. Alright, I'm missing more chat. What am I missing? I have Facebook for about a year. I saw this shit coming. Yeah. On my own profile, I saw this come in the last few years. So my personal profile, which is also going to be deleted soon, is pretty blank. There's nothing on it other than the required information and the stuff that you cannot delete no matter how hard you try. Even if the terms of service had it in there that it wasn't more evident, but a social networking site shouldn't need that crap. No, there's no reason a social networking site needs to have your phone number unless you decide to give it to them. And when you decide to give them your phone number, that's different than saying, hey, we need your phone number to confirm your identity. But I'm either going to tell you who I am or I'm not. None of even my own personal email address doesn't have my actual identity on it. And it's loosely linked to me for my own protection. Facebook is one of the very few sites that does not let you loosely link things to yourself for your protection. A Alenska, it better be in your car listening to Buff or in the Buff. What? Ooh, what? Did I miss something cool? No, Byron, I was asked to join 3 lawsuits, but regrettably I decided not to push with a class action if they sued for 300,000 and 300,000 people join the lawsuit and you don't get shit. Yeah, that's happened. I've gotten like $100 paycheck from HP for having been sold a computer with a bad processor in it a few years back. And nothing went wrong with mine, but apparently because I signed up I got $100. I don't know. One of those stupid things, what the hell you just do. Let me get this off of here so you guys can see the topics and we'll discuss what's gonna be next. Did I just see Malachi in here? Somebody say, hey, Malachi. Let me look. Where's the long one? Hey, Malachi, welcome. Who do we got in here? Let me say hello. I'm probably going to repeat a hello to some people. We got Alenska in here. Welcome. Lebo, Data, Skullbot, Nightbot, Lacey. I know I've said hello to you. Hello again. Still, why not? Malachi. Who else? I'll scroll up. Hunley's in here. Welcome. Let me scroll up. Lord Byron. Adam K, who's been hanging out most of the show. We need guys, since I got a few of you here, we need to work on picking another topic to talk about. I think we can get at least one more in if we really try. Or I can sit here and ramble. And when I say ramble, I mean...
Happy Friday the 13th. I will ramble as your lord.
Or not. So, movies it is. The trick to holding attention in massive destruction is keeping it on the edge of realistic when things are damaged. So, I was watching a few movies with my family, and you have to realize that some things have that realistic feel to them, and it's cool, and it's like, yeah, I've done that. That's awesome. And then some things have that, I don't think I would drive out of an 80-story building into a 60-story building, into a 40-story building, into a 20. That just seems a little much, but judging by how they were driving, I guess they kind of could have made it, but they really would have destroyed the cars a little more. Or, hey, you know, the Hulk went 20 feet into the side of the surrounding, and I guess when you think about the strength these guys are supposed to have, it kind of seems about right. But if you overdo the damage, if you destroy a whole city when Thor's hammer hits the ground, then that kind of makes it unbelievable. And then if you hit the ground and nothing happens, that takes away all the effect. What would be the equal trade-off there? Well, you gotta put that damage not quite real. It has to be just beyond what would be real. So if you smash a Mack truck into a house, it's going to destroy the house. So if you throw Hulk into the house, shouldn't it destroy the house? Or just about destroy the house? Somewhere around what a Mack truck would do, maybe a little bit more, would be about right for the amount of damage for a movie to hold that viewer attention. Something. What do we got? In 2018, you can't hide anymore, so blend in with the crowd and hide in plain sight. Wait. Is Google doing this? Not Facebook. Google isn't evil. Google doesn't even require as much as Facebook does. Going back to the previous topic. Coming back to the current topic. Why do I have people yelling sex? Let's get through this topic and then maybe, if you guys are quick enough, it's the first topic that hits when I ask. I do kind of like the thought of the lasers and, light weapons. But I was watching a video recently done by Thunderfoot, because some of his science-y videos are cool, about the travel of light weapons and how unrealistic our current light battles are. And that seems kind of Yeah, right on the edge of, but keeping it close enough to real to keep people semi-interested. What other massive destruction happens? I need a drink. Whoops. Depends on how old you are. Does anybody remember the Blob? You know, there really was. I guess there was some destruction in the Blob. Rambo! Rambo! Who watched Rambo or Death Wish or First Blood or any of that shit? There's a lot of destruction, but the destruction that happens seems just past what would be real. It seems cool. The effects are awesome. It looks like that's what really happened, and that's what makes the effect cool. But if you were to throw, a grenade into a police station, it probably wouldn't necessarily blow all the windows out. Or it could. Or maybe all those cardboard wall cubicle things that are around it would actually soften some of the impact. Or, I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like the amounts of damage to things are beyond where they should be. First data says 2012, then he says 3012, and then I think something's wrong with this. Yes, it is. I got that fixed. Blob was dope. I gotta go back and watch Blob again. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And the best I remember, it grew by consuming stuff and then just kept growing. So if you were in the way, it would get you. It would go towards the warmth of the bodies that it felt. And I forget how the movie ended, which is why I need to go back and watch it. I remember just like bits of it. The main characters in today's films are nonsense, and there are not a ton of side characters I could give a shit. I could give no shits over. Okay. I had a Rambo marathon a few months ago. I need to do that, but I don't know if my kids are both ready for Rambo yet. Good joke writing in movies has died down too. Yeah, I think part of that is because of some of the good joke writing has died down because of the SJWs and the PC culture, and it's hard to joke about things that more and more people seem to be offended about. So that does become difficult. The other thing, what did I just see? All of it. Chuck Norris is bae. Alright, now, back in the day, when I say the day, I mean like the 90s. Chuck Norris was the shit. Chuck Norris was in the eyes of a ranger. The unsuspected stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of a ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you. 'Cause that's where the ranger's gonna be. And he was actually a fighter. Here we are, we got the board. Let's see what goes first. We got the auction going. What is going to come up first? Are we going to get sex? Are we going to get sex? Are we going to get sex? Nobody's going to get sex. Sex going once, going twice. And what do we got coming from the crowd? I'm talking too fast for my chat. Catch up. Catch up. How do you take a win in? Back up. Humor left town at the Millennium. Well, it tapered off pretty fast. Sex! We got sex twice. We got sex thrice. We got sex thrice in a row. What did I put here? Here we go. Here we go, guys. This ought to be fun. A quickie. Many people boast about how long sessions and porn often portrays them. Yeah. Many people boast about long sessions, and porn often portrays them. What is the average time spent having intercourse? 30 minutes, you'll bet? 20. Oh, are you counting down? Shaun of the Dead, but they are so few and far between. 70s and 90s were full of them. Yeah. I kind of liked the 80s and 90s humor was cool because it was, even if it was humor that might not have been politically correct, the humor usually included the people it was politically incorrect against to add to the humor. it would be some blind guy looking at a black guy going, "That's okay, it doesn't affect you because you're white." And that would be funny humor, because one, you didn't read. No, I'm not. I'm black. No, you're not. You're white. You don't sound black. Oh, yo, boo, I'm black. Well, how come you've never talked like that before? Because I don't like talking like that. Well, I didn't know you were black. I don't know how I feel about having a black friend. Wait, am I doing bad humor now? Am I not being politically correct? I'm talking about, blind challenged people and other ethnicities. I must not be correct anymore. YouTube, don't hurt me, YouTube, please. Ow! YouTube, stop! Ow! Never mind. Depends on how long the foreplay is. Yeah, back to the question. Here's the way I look at it. As I grew up, it was always about, oh yeah, I can last, no biggie. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't last. And there are a few good reasons for that. And yes, I say mostly on the side of men. Then again, we'll get to that in a minute. Some of that is you're just looking forward to it so much that by the time you get there, you were ready to go before you went. And that happens. Just hope there's a round 2. And, most men can't do round 2 or more. And that's where part of the problem is. Women can. So even if the woman enjoys herself within the first 30 seconds, keep going. Yeah. Most of us men know that. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Oh, okay, keep going. Oh, okay, keep going. Oh, you guys can go for hours. And that's wonderful sometimes. A good session between two people who care about each other should probably be a good 20 or 30 minutes. Don't get me wrong. A short session, probably somewhere around 2 minutes-ish. I can't say as I've ever been able to do it in less than 2 to 3 minutes-ish, I guess. Somewhere, I've never really sat and timed myself, nor have I had anybody time me for the knowledge of how long I go for. But don't get me wrong, especially having kids, my wife and I love the quickies. Love the quickies. 2 minutes, perfect. 3 minutes, okay. 4 minutes, we need to hurry up. 5 minutes, okay. That took a little long. We're gonna have to work on it. At the same time, we also love those long romps that keep going. So you can look at this in both ways. Now here's an advantage that a lot of people don't know. And if you look it up, you'll find out I ain't lying. I'm a skull. I ain't lying. Men can go multiple rounds. Now, when I was young, I used to really work to put this to the test, and I would go have the after cigarette and have a quick drink and catch your breath and then try to go back at it. And I have to say the in between time was usually around about an hour, maybe. As you keep pushing yourself to do better and better, I can say I'll enjoy a couple of double shots. No biggie. I will definitely aim to please my wife and myself a couple of times in one go when possible. So for us, kids around, daytime, in a hurry, doing something, messing around, 5 minutes or 2 to 5 minutes are probably somewhere around the quickie time for us. And in the evening, gotta say, without foreplay, probably about 20 minutes or so on a foreplay night, probably closer to 40 minutes or until she complains. Some nights, I don't know, I try to please, so a complaint, I stop. That's not boasting or bragging, that's, it takes a little bit to get there. What does my chat have to say? Hunley, for an average for a quickie, 10 to 15 minutes. If it's a weekend thing, the weekend dude, sex is more than just keeping it up. You know what? Sex is both partners enjoying what you get out of it. And once you've been married or been with somebody for a while, sex is absolutely all you enjoy out of it. And if you don't enjoy it, then there's no point in it. So you better enjoy certain things or learn to enjoy them over a period. Always be a gentleman. Make sure you moisten things up properly. Pay attention. Women will inadvertently tell you what drives them absolutely nuts. And a secret tip from a married man. Secret tip. Don't change patterns consistently. Be consistent with what you're doing. Women enjoy that. Keep it going for a while. Slowly switch patterns when you do. They don't like the quick pattern switches all the time. I got a suitcase. Sometimes I just pack a huge bag. I'm going in for the long haul. But yeah, your partner will tell you what's best if you learn to just listen. Lacey, yes, be consistent. Good advice, Numbed. I know it's good advice. I know what I'm doing. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I've learned years and years of trying to be the best at what I do, and there are some things I'm not the best at, but boy, can I claim I'm good because I don't get complaints. What do we got here? Sandwich sex from Data Wasteland. True, Olenska, you can feel it too. What did I miss from Olenska? Libo Productions, yes, but you also can't tell. It's hot to hear the pre-sounds when you know it's coming. I'm also one of those men that's very okay with my head being squeezed. So I won't stop, which really drives people nuts. And we are here at the end of the show-ish. So I'm sure before I go, dude, I am one hell of a husband. My wife has almost no complaints about me, except once in a while I get mad when she doesn't listen. Here is the website where this is just the closest thing I could find to information about it. So that is the site I linked. It was my question, but I needed to find a site which had an answer. And after visiting a few, this is the one I came up with. The median IELT, which means inter entry something. Do I still have the website open? I do not. I could, but it'll take me a few minutes to get it moving around. Hey, it's not all about the boning, though. For me, it's about making sure that if I'm going to... Hold on, I'll get there. So about 5.4 minutes is the average time that partners engage in intercourse. And that time, I want to say, is PIV time, which is penis in vagina. So, keep that in mind. With that being said, let's get this board out of the way. I am the kind of guy that learned early that oftentimes if you please a woman and make her happy to the point where she'll almost let you do anything, you can pretty much rail on her after that, and she'll probably like that too. PIV is penis and vagina sex. Sorry, I read too much information. I know too many acronyms. Data. Either you're repeating PIV, I hope you weren't questioning it. You should have known that already. Have you ever had a Sheila squirt on you? It's best, haha, it's funnier. Yes, but not all squirts squirt. Sometimes they just gush, and, you know, we'll get there another day on a more appropriate show. Until that more appropriate show for that more appropriate conversation. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I want, if you would all be so happy, somebody to click that share button and let somebody else know there's a share here, and we will get some guests on. I hope you all enjoyed the Friday the 13th episode. And with that,